You, laying in your bed, stare at the bottles tied up on ropes above you. They sway gently from the breeze of the open window. You'd hung them when you were younger, but now, in the back of your mind, something tells you the bottles could fall on you in the night. You don't care enough to change it. What would it matter if they did? You seem to say this to yourself every day now. The worst that could happen to me would be death. But in your mind, you'd think of it as more of a blessing than something to mourn over. Would anyone even mourn for you? You certainly couldn't do it for yourself. And even if you could, you still wouldn't. And there isn't anyone in your life who would either, because there is no one in your life. You are an alchemist, and a great one too. You could transmute metals into gold. You could take unwanted weeds from travelers and turn them into flourishing, valuable plants. You were even able to create your own minions around the lab. But the riches that came from your job could hardly fill the building darkness in your soul. Despite your monetary success, you never thought well of yourself. You would pour yourself into everything you would do. But eventually, you poured so much of yourself into your work that all that was remaining was the emptiness you felt. And there was no longer anything to distract yourself from it. You've been in your bed for months now. Your minions who once helped you in your lab are now the only thing keeping you from death. People still knock on your door seeking your help. You've turned them all away. For a long time, you would brew potions of strength for the weak, potions of health for the sick, and you could even brew potions of love for those who are lonely. Your eye lights up with a spark as you sit up from your bed. "That's it!" you proclaim, running from your room and the darkness that lingers within. If you can make a love potion for two people to love each other, why couldn't you do it for yourself? Your minions see you running through your small home and follow you to the lab. This is the first time they've seen you this lively in months, and they're happy to see you up and moving again. When arriving at the lab, you grab logs and throw them into the hearth. You rummage through a box and pull out a flint and steel, and with a few sparks over the logs, a fire is started. You pull out a large cauldron from under the shelf. You struggle with it. Its cast iron is far heavier than you remember it being. When you get the cauldron out, you reach inside and pull out a small pot, perfect for the single bottle of love potion you would need to make. You put the pot on the hearth, then stoke the fire to heat it up. "I used to have this potion memorized," you murmur to yourself. "I wonder if I still do." You grab a bucket and fill it with water at the tap, then pour it slowly into the pot to avoid splashing. "Okay now," you spoke quietly. "Rose powder." You grab your mortar and pestle from a low shelf, and push bottles around on your shelves until you get to the dried rose petals. You put a small amount in the mortar and pestle. You place the rose petals back, then find sunflower seeds. You throw those in with the rose petals. After the sunflower seeds, you find your chunk of rose quartz, then grab a small chisel and hammer. Not too much now. You break off a tiny crystal and throw it in with the rest of the ingredients. You begin grinding the ingredients into a fine powder. You pour the contents into the boiling water over the hearth. You stir it until it is completely dissolved in the water and continue to let it boil. You get fireweed honey and rose honey and put a teaspoon of each into the pot and let it fully incorporate in with the mixture. You stir at the pot, waiting for more of the water to boil off. You grab the pot off the hearth when it boils down and pour its contents into the potion bottle, then cork it. You get a wet rag and wipe the inside, then fill the pot back up with water. You place the pot on the hearth. While waiting for the pot to boil, you take the bottle and shake it gently, and then you place the bottle into the hot water. Then put on safety goggles and gloves and wait for 10 minutes while it's in the pot again. You sit and stare at the bubbling water in the pot. For the first time in months, the silence doesn't seem to weigh you down. You're still so happy to be here and working to make yourself feel better. When it's been 10 minutes, you take the bottle out and let it cool as you prepare the final step. You remove a glove and grab a small dagger from your shelf, then place it down beside the bottle. You grab the bottle with your gloved hand and pull out the cork. You sit down and take off the glove. 1 drop of blood in the potion to bond it to you is all you would need to finish it. Then all you need to do is drink it. You hold your thumb over the glass and you look at your face in the dark reflection of the potion in its bottle. For the first time in months, there's a light in your eyes. You can feel a spark in your soul, and it's spreading out. You put the knife down and the cork back on the bottle. You put the bottle on the shelf and leave the room, closing the door behind you.